Hey there, and welcome to another D&D fast paint. This time I'm painting up an official, and I just want him to be done really quickly because I need him, but I don't have a great deal of time left now. So, found this guy in amongst he's Chinese technically, he's a Mandarin. You can tell mostly by a combination of the hairstyle and the lotuses embellishing his robe. But I think with a top knot and a beard, and a mighty fine beard I might add at that, combined with holding a scroll, he could be in a court official in any court, so I will stick vaguely to the colours of Mandarin, but once again I'm just going to be using inks for the most part to just quick paint this guy and get him ready for action. So first up I'm just going to give his under robe, I'm going to just paint that blue, and I'm going to paint his over robe black, just using inks. So I'll be back in a moment when that's done. Here you have it then, quickly blocking in the two parts of the robe. So his under robe, which is going in blue, which is obviously a royal colour because back in the day blue was an incredibly expensive dye, partly because, well, there are two reasons. One is lapis lazuli is the primary pigment, and so it's very expensive and difficult to get because it's stone you have to, or semi-precious stone that you have to mine out and you have to grind down, so it's difficult. But then also I think because regionally it wasn't easy to come by, so different regions would have to import it. So generally this is why we associate blue with royalty, and hence royal blue, and royal blue is specifically lapis lazuli. There are other blue dyes like woad which were used quite extensively, so a very sort of unbluey blue, if you like. It's still blue if you look at it, it's distinctly blue, but it comes out as a sort of very pale blue rather than a rich blue like the lapis does. And so that's on his robes because he works in a court, he is an administrator for a court. At the moment as well, if I just flip him around, you can see I've just blocked in all of the details on his back, but I'll re-pick them out later. Yeah, it's just because of how ink works, it'll just run into all the gaps, so it's easier just to cover. And I've left the white edges because I'll re-pick out the white edges and before painting them red along with all of the flowers, and I'll pick out all the flowers and everything at the same time that I'm picking out the edging, or trim I suppose is the correct term. I am wondering whether I should do the trim white, just because I've got a funny feeling it might be that it's meant to be a white trim, although maybe I'm muddling that up with Shinto. There we go then, got a heavy yellow ochre for the base for all of this then, partly because yellow works well with red. But all the flowers, epaulets and the trim of the robe have been done, including the bottom edge along this, that you can't really see, but if I flip it up you can kind of see it underneath, so even just cutting it under there just to keep it clean. Next up I'm just going to apply red ink to all of the flowers, and I will also start doing the face. Okay, so I've got the face in now, and I've also blocked in the eyes, just because I was in the process of doing it, so I blocked them in whilst I was there. Also, I've run a highlight around a lot of the yellow, so I just bring that more into focus. And that just brings the yellow out. Also, having redded in the red, I've run a load of highlights just so that you can sort of see the individual petals as such on the sort of flower motifs. And I realised that I hadn't done the bind on his top knot, so I made that yellow. And then I kind of realised as well, one of the weird things about this miniature is he's dressed as a Mandarin, but he's got like a Japanese style haircut, which is odd to say the least. So it's actually a weird hybrid of Japanese and Chinese kind of styling in many respects, which is kind of cool but kind of bizarre. So just for the sake of this guy, the last thing I'm going to do to him before I do the base is I'm just going to paint his beard grey because I want him to be an older dude. I am going to leave the scroll without, am I? I might just put in the text on the scroll as well, but it's just last couple of bits before I do the base, which will go the same way I've been doing all the bases recently, sort of brown with a sandy kind of finish. I might change the bases in future for depending on what I'm putting them on, because I quite like my bases to thematically match the scenery that they are on. It frustrates me a little bit when you have a grassy base in the bottom of a dungeon. Likewise, it frustrates me a bit if you have a piece of paving stone running across the grass. But we shall see with that. So I will just crack on with getting the finishing bits and pieces done, and I'll show you the finished mini. Catch you in a moment. There you have it then, all done, complete. Not going to do the writing on the scroll work just because it's a bit of a nightmare and I don't want to get it wrong right now. But you can identify there's some kind of text characters. Maybe it's just faded or done in sepia rather than black ink. I've done in the grey, and I'll give you the standard issue Twiz. Base is all done, like I said, just in the brown with the sort of sandy finish. I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I think it's all turned out okay. And these are just fast paints at the end of the day. They aren't like spectacular paint jobs. They're not like the best paint jobs in the world. They are functional paint jobs which are good enough for me to feel like it's okay to put them on camera. You know, in an ideal world everything would have a decent amount of time spent on it and would be an immaculately painted miniature. But nonetheless, I hope this has been of some use to you, and I hope that you can get your miniatures painted in time for the next game that you're playing, whatever that may be. Cheers for watching, have a good one, and take care. Bye bye.